welcome everyone to this webinar dedicated to R&D department. Questel is especially known for its best-in-class tools and services at the service of IP managers. But today, we'll show how Questel can also address specific challenges of R&D people, thanks to a combination of its services and tools, and more specifically by a combination of our consulting services, innosabi project, and Qthena software, which is developed by Questel's partner, IPQuence. So the first part of this webinar will show how our consulting team benefits from the best of several tools, and especially their AI capabilities, to provide data-driven analysis. Then, Mathieu will present how innosabi project can help R&D teams to organize their work, their workflow, and their interactions. And finally, Tony will show how Qthena can instantly analyze patents and scientific documents. So we'll have a Q&A session at the end, so please feel free to ask your questions in the Q&A box. And also, we would like to propose you a few polls during the sessions, and we'll look at the results together. So we can have the first poll directly. So you can very happily answer the first question, which is, what is your biggest challenge in R&D management? Okay. I think we can keep on going. So, thank you for your words. So let's begin with Questel's consulting services. So along the R&D cycle, there are several kinds of data-driven analysis about the environment that can support R&D teams. So first, to understand technological trends, it begins with the identification and regular watch of competitors' production. It can be scientific papers, patent, product, R&D project. It enables to identify trends, last technological challenges, invention, and new competitors. Then, R&D teams need to get directions about where to innovate. The analysis of the environment helps to either turning around existing solutions or identify white spaces. Then, a possibility for R&D teams is to accelerate R&D by scouting existing technologies in your environment that can answer your own challenge. And finally, your innovation may need to be protected through a patent filing, and at least you need to ensure that you will not be blocked by third-party patents in terms of commercialization. So to ease this presentation, we can group those different projects into three main types of analysis: competitive intelligence, technological landscape, and prior art search. So each of those types of projects follows approximately the same process. A preparation phase, which requires to rapidly understand the innovation field. Then a search phase to retrieve the data, either patents, scientific papers, news, product, clinical trials, etc. A phase to clean this data and remove the noise with a threshold, which depends on the kind of analysis that you are doing. Then a phase to organize the data according to a reading grid that will enable to understand the environment. Then the analysis of everything, and at the end, the report generation. And for each of those phases, we'll show which AI-based tools we currently use and how they support the different projects. So, first, when we need to rapidly understand a new topic or a new technology, we used to search for scientific literature or patents providing a very good review of this field. But new AI tools accelerate this process by proposing, out of a question in natural language, an elaborated answer which provides the scientific paper source. The answers can also be questioned again to precise, to dig in, to elaborate around the answer. And these tools, like Cite, Consensus, or SciSpace, They can also enable to question one specific scientific paper to accelerate the retrieval of most relevant information. For the search phase, patent tools offer a range of possibilities. For instance, Orbit Intelligence by Questel proposes, firstly, a semantic search in natural language that will retrieve all the related patents to this question. Then, a similarity search feature that will search for similar patterns that the user has previously selected. It works through a combination of AI-based semantic analysis, pattern classification, and citation trees. The tools will also provide the identification of concepts and relevant keywords within a preliminary database in order to build your own pattern queries. And finally, a query builder that will transform a question in natural language, like this one, into an expert query combining keywords, pattern classification, potentially players that can be improved progressively. And the combination of all those tools greatly enhances the speed and the exhaustiveness of your search. So it's also worth to be mentioned that those tools are not restricted to the pattern search, as the query builder in natural language will be released soon for innosabi Insight, which is a Questel tool which proposes a business-oriented dashboard for R&D department, and which combines several types of information: so patents, scientific literature, clinical trials, R&D projects, startup information, and so on. Once the search is performed, so it's often needed to clean the data and to keep only what is relevant for you. So for that, we use one tool mainly, which is Orbit Intelligence AI classifier, which is able to learn a categorization which is manually performed by the user on about only like 10 documents, and this tool will reproduce it to categorize the other documents into relevant or not relevant. Then, to organize the data, two approaches can be considered. A bottom-up approach, where the taxonomy is elaborated based on the topics or concepts which are present in the database and that the tool will directly organize. Or there are guided solutions, so top-down, where a taxonomy will be predefined, and then we'll ask the tools to categorize each document in one or several of the categories. Those tools can be the AI classifier by Orbit Intelligence that we have seen before, or a combination of an Excel macro and OpenAI API that will also be able to categorize patterns. And both of the tools can be used in combination, of course, to improve accuracy. The AI-based analysis, after, of the data can be performed through several approaches. So the analysis of the data of a database, of the raw data of a database, like the dynamics, the players, the countries, the classification, the categorization, by a LLM that will comment the finding. Those comments can be directed to link or compare the information with prepared data that you already have prepared. For instance, to compare dynamics or assignee typology to other domains or to closed domains. But it can also comment graphs by explaining other related graphs which are not shown in your analysis. And this kind of analysis is very well suited for technological landscape. For prior search, a different kind of analysis is provided, for instance, by Qthena, which is able to identify and align features within patent or scientific papers, like this. AI tools like OpenAI API can also help to generate the final report according to predefined templates, thanks to Excel macro again, that will guide the AI. For this example of Patent Watch, specific prompts have been built so that it writes the executive summary, it identifies relevant documents to be highlighted by deep diving into the corpus. It can also summarize some patents, or it can also summarize the activity of specific players. For this example, which is about a patent landscape, the AI tool, still guided by a macro, will also follow a predefined template where it can comment the patent filing dynamics, the R&D countries, the market countries, the assignees, and it can also excerpt and comment specific patents for the top players, for instance. So it's a short presentation, so we need to go to the synthesis. And as a synthesis, we find that AI tools, if they are well used at each step and for the right purpose, they can save the analyst time. And those savings will differ from one step to another, and also can change depending on the kind of project. So for instance, the AI-based analysis will have more impact for prior search and competitive intelligence than for technological landscape. We also try to assess if AI can do a better job, or at least as good job as an analyst work. And so far, there is not one phase of the process where AI does a better job. But it can already provide similar quality in several situations, and in particular, the very repetitive ones. But if we come back to the process we have seen before, there is one step which is actually missing. This is the storytelling. That is to say, how the analysis will answer the initial question, your initial question. What are the technological trends? What are the hot topics? Where should I innovate? Who are the best partners to speed up my R&D? And so on. And for this storytelling, AI is still not ready. It does not understand your context, your objectives, your specificities. It does not reorient the analysis depending on the first findings of the analysis. This is okay for prior art searches that do not really need this. But for competitive intelligence, for technological landscape, the added value of the analyst remains the key. So to conclude about the real benefits of those AI tools for environment analysis, we could say that there are not one, but several good copilots. They save your time, especially if you work on structured database. They can provide the sources of their answers so that you can easily check the information. And they really give you the control of how you want to conduct your search. However, they can still not replace the pilot, that is to say you. An active review is still mandatory, which means that you cannot run the tools in a complete autonomous way. They are not really able to tell a story from the initial question, and they don't really deal with all types of data. What is funny is that those last two missing features were already addressed by Innosabi Insight, the Questel's tool proposing business-oriented dashboard for R&D departments, and which combines several types of information as we have seen before. And of course, as a user of these tools, we, as a user, need to develop new skills to use them in a useful and a proper way. So we've seen how a combination of AI tools can support R&D people to make data-driven decisions about their technological environment. But what is also needed by R&D department is an organization and a structured workflow. And this part is provided by a tool like Innosabi Project, which will be presented by Mathieu right now.
So hi everyone, I'm Matthew. I'm one of the sales directors at Questel, leading the innovation business line called innosabi. And so today I'm very happy to present you Innosabi Project, which is our project management software dedicated to R&D teams. So I was saying, and of course you can find all the studies done by Questel Consulting in the platform. But on top of all these features, we are working on 3 Gen AI features that are going to be released very soon. And the first one is our search to interact with the platform like you all do with ChatGPT. The second one is for patent drafting, and the third one is for document analysis. But now let's jump into a quick demo of Innosabi project. Hopefully you can still see my screen.
Yes.
So the way the platform was built is like a Lego. You have different colors, different shapes, different sizes, and depending on the project or the processes of your company, we will shape the software to your needs. This is very important. We customize the whole platform. And then on the left-hand side of the menu, you have different type of catalogs, your space, projects, ideas, partners, network, experts networks, and so on. You have a search bar in the middle, all the latest projects that have been added in your platform, all the big themes of your company. And when you click on one theme, you will see all the latest projects, all the latest ideas, latest partners, internal experts related to those themes. You will see also all the ongoing challenges, and if you click on one challenge, you can see the latest ideas that have been submitted to this challenge, the top ideas, the top participants, and so on. You can see also the latest ideas that have been added to your platform, because projects can come from internal ideas as well. If I go and click on the project catalog, I have a different type of views, different type of filters. All of this could be customized. And if I click on one project, I will have the name of the project, to which theme is related, to which business unit is involved, what is the priority of this project, if there are some partners involved in this project, what's the starting date, ending date, team information. What's interesting here is that you have an API with Teams, so you can start a conversation directly in Teams for this project with those 3 people involved. And you can subscribe to the project. On top, you have the status of the project. Here it's in the scoping phase, different kind of tabs, description, overview of the project, budget information. Here, what's interesting is the API we have with Innosabi Insight. So here I can see that 2 patents have been involved in this project. And if I click on it, you see that this is a Innosabi Insight, and this is the information related to this patent. You can also tag videos and pictures to a project. Of course, you can have multiple documents for a project. You can also have a checklist, assign tasks to people, see workload information, and if they have been submitted in some committees. Of course, you can also ask evaluation by experts on this project. Here I can see here that there has been 2 evaluations, and this is the summary of the evaluation of this project. You have an internal forum space about this project and who has done what on this project. Of course, this file could be exported into Word or PowerPoint. And if people coming from different parts of the world using different kind of languages in the same project, we also have embedded translation models so that everyone can understand it in its own language. So this is a project page. Of course, you have different kind of views. So let's say you have also a Kanban view. I want to see what's going on in business unit number 1. These are the 6 projects in this business unit. And if you have the rights, you can drag and drop one project from one status to the other one. Of course, you have table view, as some people need the table view, and the Gantt view. So this will give you a list of all the projects in your company with all the different tasks assigned to those projects. And you can also compare those projects from one to the other ones. As I said, projects can come from ideas, so you have also the ideation space in the platform with, again, different type of catalogs, different kind of filters, different kind of templates. And you can see also all the different partners with who you might have an interaction for your projects. So again, different kind of filters, different kind of tabs. And if I click, let's say, who are the partners I have in my portfolio that have been scouted by Arnaud? Here we go, there's Questel. And you can see here as well, all information about Questel. And what's interesting again here with the API we have with Innosabi Insight, you can see all the inventions, all the scientific publication published by this partner. And also the ID card of the startup, if they are involved in some projects as well, and so on. You also have an internal experts network. So this is maybe a very interesting way of finding easily all the experts, let's say in AI robotic, and you can directly Teams him or email him. And finally, you have all the dashboard part where you have a list, a lot of different KPIs. See, all in all here, I have 16 projects in my company, repartitioned by theme, repartitioned by priority, by business units, and so on. And as we have also an API with Power BI, we can build custom dashboards so that you have better view on your budgets, on your task planification, and on your project's overview. So this is what we already have at Innosabi project. Let me now show you what's coming next. At the end of Q1, we will be releasing our first GenAI search tool in Innosabi project. So here you can type in any kind of question. So let's say here I'm looking for artificial intelligence startups, trends, and innovations in my database. If I click on it, then my GPT will start working and he will find me all the startups related to my query, all the trends and innovation also related to my query in the database, of course, and conclusion. So this is our first step in our first GenAI feature. The second one is very interesting. So you have a project. You're in the project page. You have filled in a lot of different information. And then from here, we have a link with Qthena, which is our AI-driven pattern drafting tool. So you can send all the information you have in one project. And if I click on Go to Qthena, it will send all the relevant information in their tool so that from there, you'll be able to draft your pattern. So that's our second GenAI feature. And the third one, which is really exciting as well, is that when you have, as engineers, for example, you're dealing with a lot of different documents. It could be pictures, schemes, PDFs, Word, whatever. You have a lot of them. You can upload all those documents in this part, and then you can click on the Analyze with Qthena feature. And this is where Tony is going to lead the presentation next. Is that when I click on Qthena, then it will send all the information in Qthena's software, and from there you'll be able to work on all those documents, ask a lot of questions about it, and then again in the near future, all this information that you will gather, you can send it back to your project. So here, this is it for me. This was the presentation, a short presentation of Innosabi project. I will now give the hand to Tony. Thank you everyone for listening to this presentation, and hopefully you will love Qthena.
Thank you, Matthew. So let me try to share my screen now.
There's a new poll.
Seeing the poll, yeah. I let you, Cyril, manage the poll. Does it get managed automatically? So let's see, what's your top project management challenge? Votes are coming in. So I assume you can see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks for confirming. Hi, everyone. So I'm Tony. So let me just quickly inform you about what Qthena is. And then we go into some very detailed examples about how it can help you in your daily work. So the unique aspect of our Qthena Copilot solution that we first launched in 2021, so well ahead of all of the current hype we see, is that from day one, we gave Qthena its own cockpit. So it has a purpose-built digital cockpit, which is a key differentiator because we can arrange a GPT chat, like you see on the left, next to your PDF documents in one single user interface, which makes verification of the output and the verification of other aspects very, very easy, and it's very seamless to handle. So why did we come up with this? Well, one of the big problems you're facing reviewing all of those documents that also Matthew highlighted that you will face during your projects is you have all of these Adobe tabs open and other tools that you need to use. So this is, for most of you, your daily view, shuffling around all of these tabs. It's very frustrating, very time consuming. And we believe the problem is that you have a lot of tools that you need to use in order to analyze your documents. You usually do not just stay within Adobe PDF viewer. You will jump around into an OCR feature maybe, then you need a translation. So this is very time consuming and doesn't let you focus on the task. And now, of course, everybody's in the market to find generative AI. So you need another login, another subscription. So we figured, what if you could just create one single platform that has all of the tools and all of the data you need to complete your workflow? So you should be able to stay in one UI, review a document, and from that UI, share the PDF to a colleague to get their input. So that's the background why we conceived Qthena and how we try to help you in your daily work. And because of this, you can now simply focus on the workflows. And we will make sure that all of the required tools and data is available inside of the tool. So from literature studies to portfolio reviews, etc., you can do everything within one single tool. You don't need multiple subscription anymore. So we will not be able to touch on everything, of course, today, but hopefully I will be able to convey some of the benefits that we believe are relevant to your R&D workflows. So let's start with the most basic one. You need to review documents. We established this already, and our proprietary cockpit allows you to have in one view, let's say on the left, the Gen AI chat, on the right, the PDF. It's not just a nice to have, it's essential. Because as you all know, you still need to verify AI output. And because this is side by side, it's seamless for you to verify. Actually, we have purpose-built tools that allow you to highlight an output from the AI generated response and to bring you to the page and paragraph of the source PDF. So this makes it very convenient for you to work with the tool. You will always have complex drawings, charts, diagrams. Matthew already touched on this. Of course, it's going to be very complicated for you to keep arranging these things. And I would bet with anybody in this call, you never really review a document in one go. You'd always come back later. Right? You finish after lunch, you finish tomorrow, in 2 months. Qthena will save the state for you. So if you take the effort, like I did here, to have the same document open in 2 different views side by side, I can just leave, close, I get a phone call, don't worry. When you come back, Qthena saves even the scrolling state. Forgot your laptop in the office, you can log in at home from your cloud account. Everything continues where you left off. You can, of course, arrange 2 different documents side by side. Right? So here on the left, I have a green document, on the right, a red document. You are completely flexible in this proprietary grid layout, how you want to arrange not only documents, but you can arrange document next to data panels as well. And we need to make it convenient for you to work. Right? So we don't want you to worry too much about organizing and doing. You could simply use vision and voice to interact with Qthena. If I get a complicated drawing like this, I have enough to focus on, and you don't always want to type and include your prompt. And because generative AI performs better if you give it more context, it's also easier to just prompt it with voice to explain what you're really trying to do than typing all the time very long prompts. So here's an example of what you can do. I'm reviewing a document here on the right-hand side. It has different quadrants, different definition for these quadrants. It's an e-city project type of paper. And I might very well open up another document. So this is a document in German, a different language, which has also multiple different smart city project this town, Schaffhausen, is working on. Now you might want to categorize these different projects into your quadrant that use an internal quadrant, an internal logic you have. You could just import both documents and ask Qthena this question. Map the different projects mentioned in the strategy document of the city Schaffhausen into the quadrants A, B, C, and D. as defined in the Smart City Document 1. And then Qthena will do this for you. And it will go one after the other. It will extract the project in the Schaffhausen document, say, okay, they're working on a digital services and e-governments. It will fit into your quadrant B or C, depending on how you define it. And it will do it for everyone. So as Matthew showed before, and as also Cyril showed in the first slide, there's an analyze stage in everything you do. This is where Qthena comes in. You have all of these other great tools to prepare, organize your data, but when you start intellectually working on these aspects, you can now have your personal digital assistant with Qthena supporting you, brainstorming with you, and completing tasks for you. Qthena will always do a first grade draft. This is the stage we're at. Be very transparent about what AI can and cannot do. 60, 70% of your drafts will be completed, and it's for you to come in, verify, correct where needed, and move on. So how do we achieve this actually? Well, most of you know about prompt engineering and how important it is for you to, define the prompts very diligently. It's still important how you interact with Qthena, but all of that heavy lifting we have already done. Qthena comes pre-equipped with what we call Qthena skills. You see some of them here in the screenshot. You can select these different skills depending on the task at hand. And what's hidden behind these skills is our, prompt engineering work that the team here does at iPeak-Ones. For example, for patent skills and other similar skills, we educate and train Qthena behind the scenes to act like a patent professional. We never use any user data. We do not need your data, and we don't want to use your data because it's a sensitive topics you're dealing with. And Qthena never learns from you. When you then need to collaborate with somebody, it's another very frustrating element in this workflow, because if we're honest, what usually happens is people will put attachment into an email and spam the other side that actually just need to look at the same pages I'm already looking at. So if I'm looking at the definitions of this quadrant here on the left, and now I want to have Matthew's input, why should I just send an email with 6 attachments and like, hey, can you do this? Then he needs to save it, he needs to open it, and so on. For that reason, Qthena allows you to just click share. And when you share this project with your colleague, even if they don't have a paying subscription, you can still share as a guest user. They will enter and see exactly what you prepared. They will see this already open side by side. You can add a question here inside of the PDF, and you can start chatting inside of the PDF. The great benefit with that, you can download the PDF into any other application, but you take your work with you, the comments you and your colleagues have done. So we're not locking your valuable work into our UI that you cannot utilize somewhere else. In the first poll, I saw some of you already said invention generation and so on is a problem. Qthena, as we showed before, can help you in different stages. So if you need to draft invention disclosures or structure them, Qthena can help you. You could simply start a session with Qthena, and the way to think about it is like Qthena will interview you, and step by step you will arrive at a complete invention disclosure. You could say, I invented something. You see here in blue, Qthena will then ask you back a couple of questions. You could also at some point say, that's all I know. Can you help me complete the invention disclosure? And Qthena will do this for you. You will go from starting a session to a complete invention disclosure in less than 3 minutes. And it will be as structured as you see here. There's a little bit more what didn't fit, but all the essential sections of a complete and detailed invention disclosure Qthena will create. If you want more detail, you just prompt Qthena and say, hey, you need to add a little bit more to section 4. So you're good to go within a couple of minutes. You can send it out to your law firm to start drafting or send it back to the inventor. You should not waste your time on these, processing steps, repetitive tasks anymore, as already Cyril indicated before. Of course, you could also do patent drafting inside of Qthena, and you can use both vision and voice. So once you've done your invention disclosure, you might just want to continue in the tool later on and do the patent drafting. You don't need to learn a new tool. You could start like, hey, I need you to draft me a claim 1, but you can also brainstorm with Qthena and say, hey, the inventor told me maybe it's a shoe and a temperature sensor, but can you abstract a concept for me? Qthena knows here how to draft good patent application, and it's built on the principle that you interact and collaborate. Think that you have a personal patent professional next to you that you can ask and brainstorm, and it will execute on what you want. It can even do what you see here on the left. I just said here, let's do the brief description of the drawings. You can give it drawings without giving it any text. The only thing you give it is the drawings, and you see the drawings have no text. Qthena is able to draft because we have given Qthena vision skills. So when Qthena here describes figure 2 as an exploded view of the footwear device, it could see this exploded view. We do not just look at an image and make a text description out of it, like other tools in the market. We have integrated natively the vision modality of a large language model at a very high quality. And I'm not going to comment each of these drawings, but for example, here in figure 6, it says a cross-sectional view of the toe region. There was no text telling Qthena anything about these figures. It can just see and describe. So let's go to your big use cases that we believe you always have in R&D project literature studies. Could be science papers, could be patents, of course, could be any type of text that you need to analyze and get summarized. What I've shown you so far allows you to in real time interact with Qthena, the chat functionality. But all of these literature studies, as many of you know, you don't expect when you give this to an outside source that this comes back within 10 minutes or 2 minutes. So there are tasks, 100 documents to be reviewed, 200 documents that you just can give to Qthena, let it process and complete it. And as soon as Qthena is done, it will send you an email. I'm done. You can come and review the results. And for this, we have the research assistant, which essentially does an AI agent orchestration behind the scenes. It allows Qthena to fly up multiple AI agents depending on the task. Cyril showed that Qthena can do a claim chart already. There are multiple AI agents would collaborate to build a claim chart. But there are other use cases I can show you now. So one simple use case, and very valuable use case is to ask Qthena to summarize a document. It could be a simple prompt like this. A lot of R&D teams, they want to know which problem statements, how are the competitor tackling this? It's really valuable to be, in the known about what problems have the others already tackled, how did they solve them? Imagine you have to do this on your own. Let's say you identify a portfolio of a competitor with 200 science papers. It's a very tedious task. I think we would all agree. The only thing you have to do here, you define this prompt once, you will select the documents, and then Qthena will be off and running and get you the answers. Other tasks, maybe you need to really study a patent for a review meeting. You don't have a patent attorney at hand, but you need to quickly understand what does a patent claim 1 define. You always get to hear that's the most important part. Again, just give this prompt to Qthena. It's all integrated in the tool anyway. You can just log in, select the documents, and it's off and running. Another use case, you're going to review a lot of maybe marketing brochures of a competitor, product specs, and you want to know, do they talk about a particular technology here, surgical microscopy and multispectral tech? You could force Qthena to give you a category, a clustering essentially. It could come back with answers, yes, well, it's adjacent technology, or no, it doesn't talk about it at all. These are all different queries, but you do it with the same tool and at scale. So once you get these results, let's say you have 100 results, you can now go back into the chat mode to interact with Qthena to kind of summarize or understand deeply what are these results about. The one really cool functionality that you can use is you could get the results in. Let's say you've analyzed 100 science papers plus 100 patent documents. And then you could say, hey, what do you think, Qthena? I want you to really think hard about the following. What is this company working on right now, according to the patent filings? What type of products? And what could they be up to that they don't discuss in the patents? You could really push here now a large language model to such an extent that it can help you extrapolate what could the competitor maybe be up to based on the knowledge of the documents today. And then if you're good to go, you had your interaction, you can also ask Qthena, hey, now write me a short summary. I need to present this to the team. Unlike Microsoft Copilot or ChatGPT, all of the tools you need are integrated into one to also verify quickly. And you have out-of-the-box skills for your use cases, patent, R&D, that makes it perform better. And finally, the case of having vision capabilities should not be underestimated. So here's another example where the only thing we did here is we gave the tool only this document that has only vision and drawings to be utilized. There's no description text, no claims, but we asked, does the actual document disclose somebody speaking to a wristband device? You see an answer in blue, yes, from figure 8a. And I'm gonna, for the interest of time, scroll through it quickly. We're on figure 7c. But Qthena said, yeah, there's something from figure 8a where somebody speaks to a smartwatch, asks about the weather, receives a response. So we can see on figure 8a, exactly as Qthena responded, it started to see a smartwatch. There's no text. So it can really see, it sees the arm moving upwards. And in this figure 8c, it saw that the user starts speaking to the smartwatch. On the next drawing, it saw that it said 7 degrees and sunny. It does not say here the response is, but Qthena understands that this is a chat interaction and that this is a response to the previous question. That's why Qthena said receiving a response. So now you could, for the first time at scale, also utilize information that might be hidden in drawings, diagrams, tables, etc., by using the research assistant. It has transformed other organizations' workflows similar to yours. And now I think we are on the last poll. And then we will go over in the Q&A session. So while we wait for the results of the poll, thank you very much for taking time today.
Thank
You
you.
have here our contact details. We can go into the Q&A session now. Please reach out to us if you have any follow-up questions after this. And you can find more information in the different channels of Questel as we're currently seeing here on the slide. Thank you.
Tony, I believe there are some questions for you in the
Yes.
question box.
Okay.
About
Just try to
confidentiality and
find
data security.
Okay. So I do not see, and I need to switch here. So I don't see the box. Can you read them out loud about data security and?
How are you making sure that no confidential data go into the public field when working with public LLMs?
Now I see it. Thanks. So we do not use ChatGPT. We have a confidential and API integration. So OpenAI, Microsoft Azure, Google, they have enterprise-grade APIs that are contractually ensuring that no data is being retained by them for any purpose. So this is very different from what you use in the public domain with consumer products. Secondly, the way we created the infrastructure with our Qthena solution is your email never leaves our environment. Nobody at those LLM providers will ever see your information. They only know that Qthena sent a request, we process it, and serve you the answer. So there's no risk of them using any of your information. Then no conflict data on the public field. So I think this answers the first couple of questions. Okay. I don't need to click on this one user. Yeah. Yes. Okay, good. So I got a thumbs up there. So it's really, we never use our users' data. There's nothing even we use when you interact with our tool. by default. We have created this from the ground up as a tool for the legal and IP industry. So we know how sensitive it is. And so we don't use any of your data for any purpose except helping you to log in and keep the product secure.
Okay, so about the first question, yes, there will be a recording of the webinar sent to everyone.
Some other questions we usually get, if I may, about our Qthena solution, of course, is, can I upload really any type of document? So if the document is already in the public domain, let's say a patent document, you don't need to upload anything. Qthena will automatically retrieve it. You can get all of the documents of any patent directly within the tool. You don't need to navigate to a Google Patents or a Spasnet. And yes, you can upload any type of document then with a simple drag and drop, just like you would open it in Adobe. You have a more efficient tool with Qthena and when you work there.
There is a new question for
I think
you.
there's a new one.
Mm.
Is AI-based patent drafting done in innosabi or Qthena? It will be done in Qthena, which is the third tool.
And Qthena.
And Qthena as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and I can talk about that a little bit. So there will also be collaboration to bring Qthena and Qthena tools together more and more, right? So even if you would start with the Qthena or Qthena, you can then in the future, add additions. So if you would be a Qthena user, you would be able to use Qthena functionalities over time as well, and so on, because our collaboration with Questel will make sure that we integrate deeper and deeper. I don't know if some of you in the call are Orbit users, also a Questel tool. This is also currently being integrated into Qthena and so on.
At the end of the questions, I guess.
Yeah.
So thanks everyone for your attention. And any question, please ask us, and you will receive the recording.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a nice end of the day.